Hi guys, so as part of VEDA, I thought I will do a little birth story series. Now I have posted my videos of giving birth for Blake and Danielle. I don't have video footage of Celine or Isabella, so I thought I'd share my story starting with Celine's. So Celine was due on 12th of December in 2007, and earlier that week on the Sunday, so her due date was on a Wednesday, on the Sunday night I had gone into the hospital to meet my midwife because we were all concerned about how swollen I was. My feet were so swollen that I couldn't get into any of my shoes and I could just barely fit Eugene's sandals. And so I was wandering around in his sandals and my skin looked like it was so shiny it was going to burst. So we went into the hospital and had a scan and a couple of tests, and midwife said no, everything's fine, what have you. She sent me for a water scan on Monday morning just to make sure there was no problem there. There wasn't. And she kind of just left me to it. So by this time my mother had been at our house for 2 weeks because she expected me to go early. And Eugene had been home for 2 weeks for the same reason, and nothing had happened. So ironically, the day before her due date, Eugene said he was going to go back to work. So to give him a good night's sleep, because I'd been restless every night that last 2 weeks, I decided to sleep on the couch that night, just so he could get some good night's sleep, because he had to leave really early in the morning. And he slept nice and soundly. Me, on the other hand, at, what was it, 2:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning I got my first contraction. So, yeah. My husband was greeted at 5:30 on Wednesday morning with, "Sorry, you're not going to work, the baby's coming." So he rang my midwife. I hopped in the bath because I was getting contractions quite close together. Not close enough to get to hospital, but just really close together. And he rang the midwife and he rang my sister and let both know that, contractions had started. Couldn't get hold of my midwife for ages. So we finally got hold of her, and by this time I was getting no break between contractions. We only lived at like 5 minutes up the road from the hospital at that time, so we just raced up, having finally got hold of the midwife. She got in and I was, as I said, no contractions. It was just, no gap between contractions. It was just one after another. And I was in constant pain. So we got into the room. I was vomiting. I'd had that type of whatever it is for morning sickness. I was sick all the way through her pregnancy. Morning, noon, night. And she wasn't ready for me to give birth. My waters hadn't broken or anything. It was just hard labour with nothing. So she gave me this injection to slow me down. And this was about 9 in the morning. And so I had to hop on the bed and I was being monitored the entire time. And she finally had herself sorted, so she decided to hurry up the baby by breaking my waters. Well, the minute she broke my waters, Celine's heart rate dropped. So everyone went into crisis mode. I ended up with like 4 or 5 doctors in the room, at least another 4 midwives. And and I was at 1 o'clock. They were talking about bringing me in for a C-section. Well, at 1 o'clock, that's when Celine decided she was going to arrive. And so the doctors ended up giving me a epistomy. And so I basically got a TMI alert, a slice from one hole to the other. And she was pulled out with forceps. So her official birth time is 1:31 p.m. Anyway, the doctors checked my umbilical cord, and I mean, she was fine, she was perfect. When she was born, the cord was wrapped around her neck twice and knotted 3 times. And the knots had saved her life, because when they checked it, my womb had gone toxic, which is why I had swelled up and stuff a few days beforehand. So ideally I should have been induced when I came in the hospital on the Sunday night, and I didn't get induced. So if we had been another 12 hours in labour, we would have lost Celine. So she's kind of our miracle baby. So yeah, I don't think that midwife is a midwife anymore, but that's basically my birth story. We were in hospital for another 2 days, and then we came home, and the rest is history. So that's Celine's birth story for you. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next video. Bye.